So if you're feeling stressed or anxious, or maybe you're not sleeping very well, you're low on energy, or just kind of like out of shape physically and mentally, there could be one thing at the root cause of that, and that could be cortisol. So what is cortisol? Well, cortisol is a hormone which does many, many things, but in the context we're talking about today, it helps you get out of bed in the morning, it provides you with energy, so you can seize the day, carpe diem style. So for example, I've got this graph here, and this is the cortisol level, and we've got morning, noon, evening, and night. And typically, this is what it should be. We should have, high cortisol in the morning, and then it falls throughout the day, and all the way down here to the evening. You can't really see this blue mark, but it doesn't really matter. And then at night time, it should be at its lowest here, right? And there is a yin-yang relationship between cortisol and melatonin. So when cortisol is very low, melatonin should be very high up here. In the morning, melatonin is very, very low, right? So melatonin comes down like this and rises as cortisol falls. So when cortisol is low, melatonin is high, you have a good night's sleep, right? But this can often be imbalanced, and in many of the clients we work with, it is. How does cortisol become imbalanced? Well, on physical or emotional reasons. For example, on the physical side of things, running away from lions, right? Or over-exercising. On the emotional side of things, it could be having an argument with your boss. It could be shouting at your kids. It could be continually worrying about project deadlines or too much work, right? And this can all create you're using up too much cortisol, too much of your super fuel, so to speak. So what happens in that case is maybe for some people, and this was my case when I first did this test many, many years ago, it was way too high in the morning, and then it fell really quickly to here, and then I was crashing in the evening. So it's kind of like that. And after I did this test, I realized this was stage 1 adrenal exhaustion. That's how the functional medical industry refers to it. So I wanted to do something about it. For other people, maybe in the morning, they wake up, they feel really tired, struggle to get out of bed in the morning. Maybe that's you, right? And you're craving caffeine or sugary foods like breakfast cereal and white bread to give you the energy to get up in the morning. But that's not normal. We should have that energy naturally, like children. So maybe you're coming like this, and then maybe you have a bunch of caffeine, which stimulates cortisol production, and then maybe throughout the working day you're a lot more charged up because there's a lot going on, a lot of activity at work. And then maybe you come home, and I don't know what the home environment is like, but if it's not perfect, maybe it doesn't fall, or maybe you go out for a run or something like that, which makes it go even further. And now we have a problem because the cortisol is it's too high, and the melatonin is too low. So even if you do go to a bed on time, you're not going to get a deep night's sleep because it's going to take a long time for the cortisol to fall and the melatonin to rise. Even if you're getting an 8 hours sleep, only maybe 6 or 5 of that is really effective. So this is a big issue, and this is stage 2 adrenal exhaustion, and it gets worse. For some people, they just flatline, right? And they just have that's when your adrenal glands, which sit here above your kidneys, are very depleted of cortisol, and then it's just difficult to find the energy or the motivation to do anything during the day. And when cortisol is disrupted, then other things can be disrupted, other hormones can be disrupted as well, like testosterone and estrogen. And this is a big problem. Excess of estrogen creates a lot of health problems, not enough testosterone. Really, there's many reasons, many good reasons why we want our testosterone to be high. It's not just for sex drive and for muscle building, but really primarily for motivation and drive and general willpower and things like that. So if your testosterone is low, you're not going to feel like doing exercise or diets or anything above what you just have enough energy for, which maybe just work, right? So cortisol could be at the root cause of that. So working this out first and looking under the hood is really, really important. So what we do is we do these tests, right? So this is a test. This is a Mosaic Diagnostics. It used to be Great Plains Laboratory. They're based in Canada. They don't do these tests in Singapore. So we order them from Canada. It's pretty simple. You spit into a tube 4 times during the day, morning, noon, evening and night. We send it off to a lab in Canada and they send us back the results. And we get the results like this. And as you can see, we've got the different cortisol levels throughout the day. We've got the chart here. So we can clearly see what's going on. And then on the other side, we've got all the estrogen hormones and testosterone and DHEA. So we can really get a good idea of what's going on. So that's it. So basically the point of today's discussion is really to say that cortisol could be the problem which is preventing you from achieving what you want to achieve on the health side of things. And having a little understanding, I think, of the biochemistry behind it is very helpful in order to start looking into maybe that is the case and we can look further into it. So, I hope that was useful. Thanks very much.